Hey, Steve Mignoni here doing the Junkyard Crawl at Berniston Auto Wrecking in Berniston, Massachusetts. And this is a little game we like to call the Hubcap game, or the wheel cover of fortune, you choose. And this is the 8th installment of this. To see the other 7, well, check them out on the description link to this video. Okay, so this is our late 60s Chevy panel van. It's also our showroom filled with glamorous prizes. And the first one up is, this. Now this, if you own a Ford 66 Galaxy or a 7-liter, you'll recognize this as being perhaps one of Detroit's craziest efforts to fake the look of a mag wheel without actually making a mag wheel. The center cap is a die-cast metal piece right here. Often says 7-liter, or maybe has a Ford script, but again, the 5 spokes looks like a mag wheel with the trim, or the holes, the lug nut holes. In fact, these also would have had chrome acorn lug nuts poking through right here. So pretty elaborate. How far to go without getting all the way there. Crazy stuff. But again, mid-60s Ford 7-liter, 66, 67 right here. Multi-piece construction in terms of the cone being screwed on. But again, if you own a 7-liter Galaxy, these are the wheels for you. A similar wheel appeared later in the 1970s on Ford pickups, but this ain't that. All right, let's keep smoking around here. And this is weird. Okay, this is a perhaps Mercury. This has got me stumped a little bit. I don't see a name in this, but this is an interesting one. It sort of has this bullseye added to an otherwise stock stamped stainless steel cover. A little bit of plastic, a little bit of metal, and look how the metal's turning all punky. That's definitely some sort of a pot metal structure right there. The screws are falling apart, but again, that is pretty cool. I want to say Mercury, but I might be all wet. This one's kind of got me stumped. It's a 15, so it's a mid-50s item for sure, but kind of cool. This is weird. Okay, this is from a 62 Ford Falcon. These are rarely seen, but this would have been on the Falcon Performance, or the special model. There was no V8s in Falcons, by the way, till 64, I think, maybe 63. But this would have been a 6-cylinder car, but these little holes, like a telephone dial, this would have been Ford Falcon dress-up hubcap, 13-inch. Again, we got to remember the Falcon was a compact car, and the bones of the Ford Mustang, believe it or not, was a Ford Falcon. But this is a pretty rare little cover. Great shape, probably new old stock. I don't think this has ever been installed on anything, but again, Ford Falcon dress-up wheel cover, 62, 63, right there. Oh yeah, the mighty Buick. We saw one of these a few minutes ago, a variation on this one here, but again, this is the fake Buick wheel cover. Now we're going to remember that 1953 Buick on the Skylark did have actual Kelsey Hayes wire wheels. Why they didn't do that again? Well, cost. But again, these things could not have been cheap. I like how there's actually airspace here. You know, they're actually kind of realistic. And the crazy part is the spokes look like they could be tuned and tightened, but no, they just sort of press into place right here, and they pierce through the stainless steel center. Now the outer ring is this galvanized, funky iron-based metal, which is rusting away. But I remember seeing these like in the 77, 78 full-size Buick Lecture 225 era. Okay, here's another fake out. This is a knockoff, sort of, but not really. This is a Plymouth 1965 Fury, full-sized car. And again, these are usually a Sport Fury, probably this would be on right here. It's interesting to see how the ferrous metal, the steel retainer ring here, is rusting away, as are the screws, but the pot metal center and the stainless outer ring are hanging in there just fine. But again, this would have been seen on a 65 Sport Fury right here, like an Indy pace car. They made some. Keep digging here. Oh, okay. This is kind of funky. The Pontiac Sunbird. Now, the weird thing about this, these arrived, of course, the Chevy Monza arrives, what, 75, I think it was. The Pontiac Sunbird variant would have these 13-inch rim, but check it out. They're made of plastic. This is the 70s, when Detroit was doing all they could to cut costs and, you know, provide some sporting look, but also low mass. But it kind of has the honeycomb look of a Trans Am wheel, of course. The center is a stainless steel applique added to the plastic with these clips. It actually snaps in place right here. Again, that sort of the outer ring, this stainless steel piece, has these clips on the ends. It snaps on, but this is a plastic wheel cover. The beauty is they don't rust, but it looks like metal, but it ain't. Again, the 70s were all about simulation rather than the real thing. But it looks good. Let's go. Okay, here is, again, a Chrysler wheel cover right here. I like this. Man, this is from like probably a Chrysler Newport 1965 or so, the Elwood Engel era. And this center cap is clear plastic. Look at that sort of that mirror effect, the sort of, that's a pretty effect. Now this is all plastic inside of here, this dish part, and we can see on the back side of it, it's painted gray for the best reflective qualities, held in with this snap ring right here for fast assembly, but the outer stainless steel component is in really good shape, but again, kind of cool. 65, 66 Chrysler Newport right there. All right, another Plymouth hubcap. This is from a 67 or so, full size, the Fury family. Again, that's the Plymouth logo. If you look at that head on, it kind of looks like the Mayflower, the Plymouth Rock, the Mayflower coming straight at you, a sailing ship. There's the sails. At least that's what I get out of it. And of course, it has a deep effect to it. This is a 14-inch wheel cover, seen again on Furies, Fury 3s, that kind of thing. Back in 67, 68. Now this one speaks for itself. Buick, 1952, I want to say, right before the Fireball 8 arrived on the scene. At this point in time, Buicks would have been powered by straight 8 engines, overhead valve, as all Buicks were going back to the 1920s. But again, this is early 50s, Buick 15-inch full wheel cover. And again, this is a larger hole right here for the valve stem because it would have been a tube-type tire, which had a larger stem than a tubeless tire. So again, 1952 Buick right there, probably off a, you know, full-size model, maybe a Roadmaster. Okay, more hubcap. This is Dodge right here, and we can see the Fratzog sort of hiding right there in the middle, the triangular device right there. I think that came along in 62, 63. They patented it. It's not really meant to do anything. It's just the Dodge Fratzog. And again, a one-piece construction with 3 fasteners securing the die-cast metal center cap with the plastic insert that gets trapped between the die-cast and the hubcap when it's installed. And again, it sort of has the look of a turbine inlet like that. And I think the designers on these things just said, hey, make it look like something, anything. I mean, with that said, there's some creativity going on here, but again, simulation. Behind us was just a 14 by 5.5 inch steel wheel from Kelsey Hayes or Bud, but there it is. Let's keep looking here. Oh, this is kind of nice. Okay, this is an Oldsmobile wheel cover from a 1962, what the heck was that thing called? The Jetstar, I think it was. It was the full-size Olds, kind of a muscle car. But again, a pretty elaborate die-cast inner ring, looking very much like an aircraft aluminum brake drum, like on a B-52 or something. Very exotic look. It's stainless with a steel retainer, which is rotting away. It's funny, the different decay rates of the stainless versus the non-stainless components. But a very rare wheel cover. This would have been seen, yes, on I think the Olds Jetstar, full-size car, kind of a muscle car. And these are rare, like 62 or 63. Pretty uncommon wheel cover right there. Oldsmobile. Let's poke around some more. Okay. Now at first blush, this kind of looks like a 64 Impala. Not so fast. AMC, American Motors Ambassador. This is a 14-inch wheel cover off of about a 65 AMC Ambassador. It's kind of an interesting one. It's a one-piece stamping stainless steel with a iron or a steel ferrous metal retainer ring that kind of crimps in. But again, this is something you would have seen on the Ambassador. Similar wheel covers were used on lesser classics and 660s. But again, if it says Ambassador, that's the big dog, the most the high line AMC product for 1965 right here. And they still have a torque tube rear axle with coil springs, no open drive shaft till you get to 1967. So one final wheel cover. What do we got? Okay. Right here, Chevrolet 1964 Impala, right here, a classic wheel cover. I remember so many of these things rolling by when I was a little kid at the hands of their 5th and 6th owners in the early 1970s when I was, you know, like 5, 6, 7, 8 years old. But no doubt about it, Chevy Impala 1964, 1-year hubcap, and the little tabs right here, you could kind of unbend these, but the plastic center insert just pops in there real quick, real easy with these guys. And again, when these things go missing, yes, you can also load these wheel covers with little rocks and drive the guy driving the car crazy as it rattles and rumbles down the road. But that's it for the 8th installment of the Hubcap game. If you want to see the first 7, well, check them out on the playlist here on the Steve Maggs Muscle Car, the podcast here, the show. And again, we're going to do more junkyard crawling, not just wheel covers and hubcaps, but all kinds of vehicles here at Bernardston Auto Wrecking. So stick around tomorrow. There's a whole new video.